Okay, dear friends, we just spent the last 10 minutes with Kyle, this gentleman, and now we will continue this dialogue. I will not take too much of your time. Yes, so these are just now we talked about your presentation.
Yes.
But I feel you are now much more relaxed and much more approachable in the way to approach to students and to people. Why there is a change? Because speaking to the audience, there is a distance and understanding.
That's correct.
Yes. How do you bring this into your classroom to get closer to your students?
Well, that's a good question, and I think you can look at the ways that a conference presentation unfolds and compare it very closely to a classroom. So in the conference presentation, I have to be there ahead of time, right? Setting up, just like a teacher has to be in their classroom setting up ahead of time. However, in a conference presentation, the number of people that are coming in is much higher. People are coming in sort of with their eyes down, or they're looking at their iPhone or their iPad as they come in. They're not really sure what the session is going to be about, so everybody's guard is up a little bit.
Your new students.
That's right. Which, exactly, is that really so different than a student's? They're not really sure what as a teacher, what your attitude is going to be like that day, if you're going to be in a good mood or a bad mood, what you're going to do today in class, all those different things.
You do not dare be in the bad mood.
Yeah, right, yeah, no. Teachers are always in a good mood, right? Always, they always are fine. So it's not so different, but what do we tell teachers? Well, we tell teachers to meet the students at the door. It's a big challenge in a conference to greet everyone at the door because they're all kind of pouring in. They want to get to their seat fast, all those type of things. Same when they exit, it's very difficult to connect personally with them. And that creates some sort of a distance between the teacher or the presenter and the participants in the group session. I think you can lean into that a little bit by trying to make eye contact with the people in the presentation, or doing small group activities or mixing it up and those things. It makes it feel a little bit more personal.
Yes.
Also bringing your own story into it a little bit, telling things that might build a shared experience, so other people can say, yeah, I've had similar experiences to that too. It starts to bridge that connection when you're not able to meet every single person. But as a teacher in a classroom, you do have that opportunity to connect with each individual student. It takes time, and time is precious for all teachers. But so it does take time, it takes energy, but it might be the most valuable thing we can do as teachers, is to connect with each individual student, even if it's just a little bit. And to do that, we have to find ways to get information out of students in a way that they feel comfortable sharing. We have to create a safe place for sharing and getting to know each other. And there are some different ways to do that, yeah.
Maybe this brings another question. Because as a teacher, if you have 20 students, one class is 60 minutes. Each one have only 3 minutes. How do you put your attention to each student? And how do you really bring the best out of them? We have a curriculum that is there. And do you design your class that just this, or you chase the students to bring out the very best of themselves? How do you manage this balance?
Right, and I think, the answer of do we go with the curriculum as it is for everyone, or do we go after each student to really get their, differentiate so that we can unleash their, true abilities and potential? I think the answer is clear which one we should do. Teaching across and not caring about getting the best out of every student doesn't feel right. So of course we want to go after and get the best we can after each one of these students. But the challenge of differentiation is extremely difficult because, like you said, time is limited, space is limited. Every student has such individualized needs. So I really think a big part of this for teachers is we need to realize that the focus is not on us. It's not about how many minutes we can talk or how great our lesson delivery is or any of those things. It's about the student. So what we have to do is move as quickly as possible to the students interacting with the content, the material, all those different types of things. And then we are really moving around as a guide during that time.
And,
excuse me.
No problem. Maybe I ask some questions. So the better way to prepare a class, you have several class plan,
yes.
or one class plan with several add up or
That's correct.
Several add up or rescue so that you can take. Do you need some water? Good. Okay, so we have several a rescue plan. So if this one does not work out, something else will work out. So oftentimes we prepare everything so well, and it does not turn out. Students have the mood for it. So do you met these kind of situation? You prepare everything so good.
Yes.
It didn't turn out.
Yes, and it can be really upsetting for a teacher, yes. Because you, especially if you love the teachers who love a particular content area, yes. You're passionate about your content, and you wouldn't be in education if you weren't passionate about your students. And if it doesn't work, it really can hurt. And I think there's a few different ways to do that. One is to realize that learning is a long and slow journey. It doesn't happen quickly and as cleanly as we would like it to happen. But we can do some things to make the process more iterative and think about, we have to develop a growth mindset, as Carol Dweck talks about it in her book Mindset. And there, in terms of practice, like simple ways to do that, I think constant formative assessment is, I think, one of the best things that we can do. So very small things like exit cards, having note cards that students answer a simple question on their way out of the room or in between sessions, where you can get a quick idea as a teacher how many of your students are getting it, how many are off track. But we have to do these things constantly, consistently. I think the greatest resource I ever got as an educator is very simple. You can get them from Home Depot, or personalized whiteboards. So small, yes. Whiteboards that each student could have, and I could ask a question and have everybody show me their answer.
Yes.
And in 30 seconds I could get an idea for, okay, I've got 20 students on pace, I've got 5 who are almost there, and I've got 7 that are going to need extra attention. Now when we move to sort of guided practice or individual practice, I know where my attention should be first. It needs to be the students that need that extra attention, and then I can move my way up to the students that need additional challenge. So I think the formative assessment helps find, if you're constantly monitoring where your students are at, you're going to have a better opportunity to differentiate. Once we lose track of that, then we're all playing a guessing game, and that's not good for anyone.
Yes. Yes. That's very interesting. And I forgot my last question. Maybe we can just have some chat.
Okay.
And it's very... cut it out.
It's all good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to grab a glass or a drink of water.